Hey, what's up everybody? It's Isaac from Alchemy here with another episode of the Devlog. This week we're going to talk about some recent changes to the platform, including custom trackers for your custom system games. We've released the ability to create universes with custom systems and build out templates and things inside of those universes. We fixed a bunch of bugs with D&D Beyond import. Thank you for all the feedback there. And we released a way to subscribe using redemption codes, so we can send out some codes to people via our creator partners on Patreon and through other avenues to give you all some free time on Alchemy Unlimited. So let's go. Let's take a look at those sweet new trackers. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new game from scratch, and I'm going to call this Devlog 3. And I'll go into the custom tab because I want to create a custom system game here, and click on custom, and let's go into that game and start playing. First I'm going to turn the music down a bit so we're not blasting that. Okay. Custom trackers are available on both non-player characters and on player characters. For simplicity, we'll take a look at a non-player character here. So I'll click the plus button and create a new character. And this will use the custom system character sheet. We'll make this guy a guard. And over here in the trackers tab, we've got our existing XP and HP trackers. Of course, you could change these to whatever you'd like. If your game isn't going to use experience points, you could make that anything you want. You can change the color. That's all stuff we've had in the past. What's new here is down at the bottom in the trackers panel. You can add any number of trackers to this character. So we'll give him a new tracker called Sanity and give that a value of, 20. I'm going to make up a bunch of weird stuff right now. Let's also give him a tracker called Action Points, and we'll make this a pip tracker because these will be pretty small values that we want to change frequently. So let's say they get 2 action points. We're making stuff up here. Let's go. And let's give him another pip tracker for key points. I don't know, maybe it's some sort of martial character that can use magical key abilities. That's always fun. Okay, so he's got 3 key points, he's got 2 action points, and he's got a sanity bar as well as the default XP and HP bars. So we'll go ahead and save this NPC. Go in and play it, and over here in the bottom left panel, the pip at the very end is for the new trackers panel. So each of those trackers that I created on the character are now displayed here in one spot to quickly and easily adjust anything I'd like to change about sanity, or you can click on the pips for action points or key points here to adjust those down quickly and easily, or back up again. You can also click the Add Tracker button at the bottom to jump straight into that trackers panel and reconfigure your trackers, add new ones, etc. This is a great way to track numeric values throughout the game for a specific character. They are not currently referenceable within an action, but I think that's something we will probably provide the ability to do at some point, because I could see some of these, right? Like if you think about key points for a character, maybe he uses these to power a special ability, or action points, and you want to create an action that uses an action point. It's definitely something we'll take into consideration as we iterate on this feature. But for today, you've got a lot of really great trackers that you can add to this panel here to really quickly and easily adjust any numeric value that you want to track for an NPC or a player character within a custom system game. And of course, on the player side of things, you'll have access to all of this as well on your character within a custom system game. And you and the GM will be able to modify these fields as you see fit to track things about your character. Now that we've seen a little bit about how custom system games work, both in episode 2 of the devlog and today, let's take a look at changes that have come to Universe today to support custom system games. So I'm going to back out of this game and head over to the Universes section and go into my Created tab for the universes that I've created. And I'm going to create a new universe, and we'll call it Devlog 3 Demo, D3D. Change the game system to custom, and we'll call it Isaac's Cool System. Call System. Cool System. I could give it a background visual or a logo if I wanted to, but we're not going to mess with that today. We'll just go straight into that universe. So now that we've selected a custom system for this universe, we have a few more tabs than you would see on a universe that you had selected none, for example, which would be used for like just assets and articles. But with custom selected, you can now create non-player characters, player character pre-mades, handouts, items, and scenes. Maybe those are in none as well. But definitely items, pre-mades, and NPCs are part of the list here for things that you can do inside of a custom system universe. So let's take a look at how NPCs work. To create an NPC in a custom system universe, first click on the NPCs tab, and you'll see a new row in here by default called Template. This is the character template for both NPCs and pre-mades within this universe. So any changes you make to this are going to be reflected on any characters you create in here. We have a nice little warning letting you know changes that you make in here are going to affect lots of things going forward. So we'll leave our template at the name template, and we'll add a few attributes. I'm just going to make some stuff up here. We'll go with brains, brawn, know-how, and grit. We're just making up our cool new system here. You can put in defaults for things like features. Maybe we want there to be like a special ability pre-filled on any characters that are created here. And then we'll go over to trackers. And you can set up your trackers. You could change these to, whatever you'd like here. We'll leave that at XP and yellow for now. And you can create your custom trackers in here for things like action points, a bar. No, we'll make that pips and make it 3 by default for characters created in this system. And we'll stick with that. You can also go in and add default equipment for the character to start with, and a default description, and whether or not it's a public description. Anything you fill in on this template is going to be copied to any new characters you create. So we'll start with these simple couple of attributes, 4 attributes, and a features here. We'll save this guy. Okay, so now when I go to create an NPC, it's going to copy that template for me, and I've got a new character. We will make a thug character and a human thug. And he's not going to be super smart, but he's going to be strong and pretty good with street smarts and really determined to get a job done. His special ability is going to be something like, let's say, Sucker Punch. You can use Markdown in these fields to format things as well. 1 action point, Sucker Punch the target, dealing D4 damage and stunning them for 1 round. That's a cool special ability. Then we'll go over to his trackers and set up, maybe he starts with 4 action points instead of the standard 3. We'll save him. And now we've got our thug all built out, ready to be pulled into a game. We can also go over to the Premades tab, and we can create a premade for characters to use. Let's give this a specific name, like Magnus Burnsides. And for his concept, we'll call him a brawler. Now, Magnus gets created using the brains, brawn, know-how, and grit attributes that we already had defined, and it's got the special ability pre-filled. We can go in and fill in his brains. He's not the smartest, but he's pretty strong. He knows how to do things, and he's really determined. And his special ability, we'll call it Rush In. Costs 1 action point. We'll just say Magnus rushes in. For his trackers, we'll just leave those alone and move on. So Magnus is now saved with that information ready for a player to use in the game when they join. One more note about the NPC template here is that changes that you make to it won't be retroactively applied to characters. So say we came in and we decided, oh, we want to have another attribute in here called Arcana, and we save that to our template. If we go into our Thug, notice that the Thug doesn't have Arcana because we made that change to the template after the Thug was created. So just be aware that changes to the template don't go out to things that you've already created. Okay, so you can also go in and create items for your custom system universe. We'll make an item, we'll call it a longsword. Very original and exciting, I know. We'll make it a weapon, and it's going to have a cost of 12 copper. Very cheap. And a weight of 3, whatever unit that is. You can fill in a description here for the longsword. Another very creative one coming out of my brain today. Look at that. Very shiny and sharp. Yeah, so you can create your longsword item. You can give it a picture if you wanted to. I did not because I didn't have one handy. And create any items that you want to have reusable in here. And you're off and running. One more cool thing here in the universe before we move on to a game is in the module itself. You can edit this now. And this credits tab includes fields for credits and license. So you could fill in things like the credits for your universe module. If you're creating something for our marketplace, for example, you may want to have, like design, art, and a license. If you wanted to paste in, like the Creative Commons license or the Open Game license, which is, once again, a thing that we can use and enjoy. Thank you. Thank you today for that wonderful news. Yeah, put that in there and you will have a good time with your very cool module on Alchemy. And that's visible here on the modules. Since I'm an editor, I have the edit here, but viewers should be able to just click this view button and read the credits and license that were entered in for this module. Okay, enough about creating a universe. Let's connect it to a game. So we've got let's rename this real quick so it's not untitled module. We're going to call it Heroes of Customia. Okay, let's go back to create a new game. And for this, we will select from our system dropdown, Devlog 3 Demo. That was the name of the universe that I created. And we've got the Heroes of Customia module in there that we can choose as a quick start for this game. It doesn't have any scenes in it, so it's not going to create any scenes automatically. But if I had created scenes in that module, they would get pulled into this game as I create it now via the Quick Start tab. Okay, make sure that volume's down again. I've got a bug with the volume slider not persisting correctly. We'll fix it eventually. It's on the list. Okay, so I'll start with a player character. I'm going to invite my test account, as I always do. Come on in, test account. And then I'm going to play them. And I can choose from the standard options for creating a character. I could create from scratch, I could choose from my library, or I can pull from premades. And if we look at the premades, we see the Devlog 3 demo universe has this Magnus Burnsides premade that we had created. I'm going to go ahead and select that for my test account. And just like that, we've got Magnus Burnsides in here. He's got not a whole lot of exciting stuff, but he does have the action points trackers that we had added to him. And if we bring up that character sheet, he has the Rush In special ability that we had set up, as well as the Brains, Bronze, Know-How, and Grit that we had defined for that premade in our custom system universe. So this works just like pulling in premades from a 5e universe. It's just for custom games. Similarly, you can quickly pull in an NPC from your custom system universe by heading on over to the NPCs tab and clicking the plus button, and this will show us the NPC template as well as the NPC we had created, the Thug, that we can quickly add to our scene and get that Thug in here. we will show him, and then let's play the thug to make sure he's got all the values that we had set up. Okay, so he's got the 4 action points that we had defined for him. And if we look at the stats, brains, brawn, know-how, and grit, as well as that sucker punch special ability, are all here and ready to go for that thug. Lastly, from that custom universe, let's make sure that we can pull in an item that we had created. So let's say we want to give the thug a longsword. If we click on add item, we see the longsword that we had created here. And we just click add to give him 1 longsword. And it's got the 3 pounds that we had set up and everything else that we defined there in the universe. My highly creative description of the sword came through as well. And of course, it's not just non-player characters that get to enjoy those items. Player characters get to do that as well. So we're going to switch over to Magnus Burnsides here and go to his equipment tab and add an item. And it pulls in the items that we had created from that module earlier. We'll just quickly add a longsword to Magnus as well. All right, if you caught the last episode of the devlog, you may remember that we released a D&D Beyond import feature. That's available in our desktop app to pull in characters directly from a D&D Beyond share link. Since we released that, we've had a pretty huge surge in D&D Beyond imports. We've had about 7,000 characters imported, which is pretty exciting. We've also had a number of bugs reported on that. There's just a lot of complexity in mapping between the D&D Beyond data and what we use in Alchemy. So there will be a lot of weird edge cases with things that you build out in D&D Beyond that just can't make it into Alchemy. But we're responding to those very quickly. And one of the things that we're doing to help us move really quickly on that is we've actually open sourced the code to import D&D Beyond characters into Alchemy. Well, technically this was already open source code, right? A community member created this DDB to Alchemy repository about a month or 2 ago and released it as open source under the MIT license. And when we decided that we wanted to do this feature, we thought, well, this feature has been mostly built here, and this is open source code. So I reached out to the author of this library, and we collaborated on bringing this into the Alchemy RPG org on GitHub, and collaborated on bringing this into Alchemy itself. So now this is the source of truth for mapping between D&D Beyond characters and Alchemy characters, and any changes made in here get released to the Alchemy app in a very automated way, so we can pull in any changes that get made here quickly and easily to get those fixes out to you very quickly. So if you are a developer or technically inclined or even a community manager or instigator and you want to get in on GitHub and help keep this thing going, keep fixing things, reporting bugs, you can do that any number of ways. One way you could do that is go on GitHub to the DDB to Alchemy repository under the Alchemy RPG org and report issues there. You can also report those on Discord or through our support email, support@alchemyrpg.com. Whichever way you get those to us, we'll make sure that it gets into the right hands and those changes get fixed here. But like I said, if you're a developer, we're welcoming pull requests here. Feel free to hop in and work on some issues, or just throw pull requests out to us and we'll take a look at what's going on and eventually get that pulled into a future Alchemy release. This has actually been such a success that I'm looking at other ways that we can open source parts of Alchemy to bring those to your eyes and capable typing fingers to help bring change to different parts of the app. We haven't identified any yet, but it's something I'm definitely thinking about as we move forward because I love open source and really enjoy working in open source and benefit a lot from open source, and it's nice to be able to give back sometimes. So we're actively looking for more ways to utilize open source. Stay tuned for that, and if you have any ideas, send them my way. Okay, so if you caught the last episode of the devlog, we talked about our 90-day free trial promotion for Alchemy Unlimited. That promotion is now over. That was just a limited time, 1-week thing while we were dealing with the OGL fiasco and everybody was losing their minds, rightfully, about what was going on there. We thought, why not give people a cool place to land, a cool new tool to try out? So we had that promotion running for a week there. But when we dropped the 90-day free trial, we decided to have a perpetual 14-day free trial on Alchemy Unlimited. So now if you come in on, if you're a new subscriber and you're coming in for the first time, you can go ahead and start a 14-day free trial of Alchemy Unlimited and set up your subscription that way. We've also been working on our subscription system behind the scenes to fix some bugs and make it a bit more robust, as well as adding a new way to redeem subscription codes. So over in our marketplace now, the old familiar redeem code button that you can use to get stuff on our marketplace can now be used to redeem a code for a free month of Alchemy Unlimited if you find yourself in possession of one of those, or maybe even a free year. Like if you were a backer of our Dark Symmetry Kickstarter, that included a free year of Alchemy Unlimited for anyone who backed at a certain tier. If you were in that tier, we'll be sending you a redemption code to use here to tack on one free year to your Alchemy Unlimited subscription. We'll also be working with some of our content partners to release Alchemy Unlimited subscription codes through their Patreons, so people will be able to sign up for a free month of Alchemy Unlimited here. And for the rest of you, that free trial is still in effect, so the 14-day free trial, that is. So enjoy that new Alchemy Unlimited subscription. All right, that covers what's new this week. Let's talk about what's coming up next. So as a reminder for you all who have been on Alchemy for a while, there used to be a assets tab in your library where you could store all of your audio and visual assets for use in games. We deprecated that at the first of the year, and we will be completely removing it from the app on February 1st. So this is a reminder, if you haven't gone in to get your assets out of there, do so before February 1st, because those will be gone for everybody at that point in time. If you've signed up in the last couple of weeks, you may not even have those tabs, so this won't apply to you. But just a reminder that those are going away for good on February 1st. And we'll be making some changes over this next week to make sure that transition is smooth and make sure that you can pull assets from universes correctly in all the places that you would need to, and just, get all those odds and ends sorted out. So that's coming up soon. We've also always got fixes for the D&D Beyond import process. Hopefully some of those will be coming from you in this next week if you choose to contribute to our open source there. But there's definitely some pieces missing on our end in terms of character import and export. So we have some odds and ends to tie up there in terms of providing the ability to export and import those new custom trackers, as well as import action items from D&D Beyond. There's a list of things that I plan to add to the import and export process this coming week so that we can tie that into D&D Beyond, as well as characters that you export from Alchemy and then import back in at a later date or in a different universe. Get all those fields in there, make things cool. So pretty excited to get that stuff tied up. We also have a project to reveal more of the changes to the platform within the platform. So we're going to have a kind of a what's new screen that shows you the release notes for the latest release and gives us a place to communicate with you about changes within the platform, because not everybody reads our changelog on Discord or watches these videos. But, more people use the app than watch those. So should be a good one. We've also got some organization coming to the marketplace. So if you've been on the marketplace lately, you've probably seen that there's a lot of stuff on here, and we have a lot more coming, and there's really no organization here. It's just a big grid of things. And we did that on purpose. We knew that this wasn't going to work forever, but we wanted to get something out there. One of the things that we like to do is move fast. So this was one of the ways that we moved fast. But that's catching up with us now that we have so many titles. So over the next week or two, you can expect to see some changes here to the marketplace to help you find titles more easily and browse for things that you may like to purchase or pick up for free. And as always, we've got lots of bug fixes and performance improvements in the works. So keep those bug reports coming. Thank you. All right, let's transition over to questions and answers. We've had a couple of questions come in on that Google form. A reminder, the link to that is down below in the description. If you'd like to submit a question for me to answer on a future devlog episode, go ahead and do that. This week we've got from Anonymous, will Pathfinder 2e be available? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. Timing is roughly this summer. I know we've been talking about it for a long time, and it keeps getting pushed down the road for other things that we need to build, both in support of being able to build Pathfinder, but also just in support of everything else that we have going on. So we're a small team. It takes us a while to get to the things that we want to do, and we want to do a lot of them. But sometimes priorities shift, and that has pushed Pathfinder out and out again. But as of right now, where it sits on our roadmap is the second quarter of this year. So you should be able to get those sweet, sweet Pathfinder games rolling, second edition specifically, rolling on Alchemy this summer. All right, next question from Anonymous, probably a different Anonymous. When will battle maps and character tokens be available to use in the tactical maps section? And the answer to that is today. You can use battle maps and tokens in Alchemy today on custom games, on pirate board games, on 5e games. Maps and tokens are available now. I'll go through a quick demo of that. So I'm going to go into my library and we'll take that devlog game that we'd created earlier. And I'm going to edit this to enable some content from Chepaku. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and add a scene, a pre-made scene from the Chepaku animated map bundle. Let's go with one of my favorites, the Coral Throne. So I'll add this scene and play it. And this is a battle map only scene. So we've got a battle map here. You can zoom in, you can pan around on it. I don't have any non-player characters in this game yet. Let's create one real quick. We'll just call it new NPC. We don't need anything fancy here. And then to place a token on the map, you click on the NPC or the player over here in the sidebar, and this pops up these actions down below. You can click on token to place their token on the map, and then you can drag them around and place them anywhere on the map as you see fit. You can enable a grid as well. It's pretty faint on most maps, but it is there. We're going to work on making that much easier to use and much easier to see in the future. But that's how you get quickly started with throwing a battle map in and throwing a token on it. You can also edit the details of an existing scene and add any number of tactical maps that you'd like to add here in this tactical tab of the scene. So it looks like the dim light scene includes a map of the dim light, which is cool. But you can also add additional maps here. So we'll take a random map that I made in Dungeon Draft. It's not a good looking map, but we'll put it in and add it as a second phase to the dim light scene. Now if I play that and you click on the tactical mode here, so this is maybe the missing piece. When you have a scene that has an environment visual, that's shown by default, but you as the GM or you as the player can click on this tactical mode button up here at any time to bring up the tactical map. And again, you can drop tokens on this by clicking the NPC or player character in the sidebar and then drop their token on the map. Overlay a grid if you'd like. And everybody sees the same view of this. As the GM, you've got control over which map phase they see. So this is the default phase for this map, but you notice that I added map 2 earlier with that bad map I made in Dungeon Draft. And if I click on map 2 phase, it's going to switch over to that map. And now I've got that map that I can drag my tokens around on and do things with. So you can use that however you'd like. For the map phases, it's intended to be used with maps that are like day and night versions of the same map, so the transition isn't so jarring like it is with two different assets, but you can do whatever you want to do with it. So have fun. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, that wraps it up for this week. This felt like a pretty long episode. There was a lot to get through. Exciting stuff. If you enjoyed this video, please do mash that like button, hit subscribe, feed that hungry YouTube algorithm so we can get more of this content out in front of the people who use Alchemy and the people who don't. If you're new to Alchemy, welcome. Look down below in the description for a link to Alchemy. You can sign up for that 14-day free trial of a Alchemy Unlimited subscription. You can also use Alchemy for free with some limits after that, so it's not a completely paid service, but you do get the most out of it with that subscription. So we hope to see you. And again, go ahead and check out the description for links to our question and answers forums, links to our Discord. I'll link to the DDB to Alchemy repo as well for any developers who may be interested in helping out with that. Thanks for watching, and let's go play some games.